Welcome back to Saturday with Mammie K, and today we are making Reuben sandwiches, one of my favorites and a real favorite around this area in Wisconsin. But today we don't just have Mammie K, we also have my Auntie K, Aunt Kathy. We're in her lovely home. She has opened up her home to us so we can cook here. These two have made thousands and thousands of meals for me when I was a kid, including my birthday favorite, pineapple upside down cake, and Mom used to make me the ladyfinger cookies and all kinds of caramel crunch bars and things like that. So being it's the holiday, even though we're not making any kind of good dessert for you or anything, but since it's the holiday, I think it's a perfect time to cook for these two lovely ladies. You guys ready to do it?
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Okay guys, for this recipe we're going to make our own Thousand Island dressing, just make it a little bit more special, and you can kind of fine-tune things the way that you like them. This is obviously optional. You can go to the store and buy your Thousand Island dressing as well. But if you're not familiar with what a Reuben sandwich is, we took and braised a corned beef for 3 or more hours, and I actually did it in sauerkraut. Now that sauerkraut is not the sauerkraut we're going to use for the actual sandwich itself, because it ends up getting so far broken down. But with that braising process, that'll make sure the meat is infused with all that flavor. And I did shred that. I basically braised it until it was fork tender, pulled it, which is the way that Fat Bites in Nashville does it. I had never had it that way, but I really like it that way, and gave it a rough chop. That's all ready for us. Of course, the corned beef goes on, and then you have Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, all on rye bread. That's a Reuben sandwich with the Thousand Island dressing that we're about to make. So this is real easy. Obviously, you'll see, and you know me, I'm going to measure everything absolutely perfectly precisely. Exactly a cup of mayo, otherwise known as 2 large dollops that looks like about a cup. For this one, I'm going to put just a tiny little bit of mustard, and that'll help with the color a little bit. Obviously, ketchup, a couple tablespoons here. Give it a shake. And again, you have to make sure it's measured absolutely perfectly. Now that basically is our wet ingredients. Oh wait, a little dash of Worcestershire sauce, because Aunt Kathy had it in her house and she didn't even know I took it, but here it is. But it won't surprise her one bit that I did, I wouldn't think. And we'll give that a stir to make sure our wet ingredients are well incorporated. And then we'll add back some sweet pickle. You can do sweet pickle relish, or what we did is my Aunt Kathy made some sweet pickles, so why not put those in there? They're going to be even better, which means that this dressing is going to be better than it would have been. Try and get this mixed together pretty well here. And then it gets that pink color. Now this looks a little light to me, so I'm going to add back a little more of the ketchup. This is, again, I'm just eyeballing it. I'm totally sarcastic about measuring everything this time around. And to that, once I get that looks a little more like what I'm looking for. Once I get that mixed up, we're going to add, this is roughly 2 tablespoons of the sweet pickle, just kind of rough chopped. You can chop it up. Again, use the store-bought stuff if you need to. A little bit of onion powder, not going to do much of that. Just a little pinch of onion powder. Dash of pepper, not much. Little dash of salt. And maybe around a tablespoon of sugar for this. And we're going to add that in, and then kind of, as I stir this, I'm going to give this, once I get it stirred, a taste, because you can use mayo. We used actually Miracle Whip. I may have called it mayo right out of the gate. But we actually use Miracle Whip, and that already has the vinegar base in it, which is what the difference is between the mayo and the Miracle Whip. So I do have balsamic vinegar that I like to use with this recipe, but I'm going to taste it first because I just want to see if it's a little too tart or if it needs any tweaking, and perhaps we can just leave that balsamic out. So let's give it a taste. This is a good little trick, 2-spoon trick, so you can taste it. Taste it on your tasting spoon. And that's pretty good. But then I can use those spoons over again. It's a little on the sweet side. I think we're good. Sometimes people will put chopped boiled egg in this, which I like quite a bit, but we didn't do that. That's a little too much of a pain in the butt, I think, so we decided not to do that one today. But I think that's actually pretty good. So I think we're ready. We're going to go over and start grilling up the Reubens. The braised meat will then be grilled with the cheese to make sure that melts. We'll put it on some butter toasted rye bread, add our sauerkraut, and our Thousand Island dressing, and we'll be ready to go. All right guys, well since everything is pre-cooked for this, it's really simple to put together. We're gonna grill these and throw them together right in front of you. For you, all you gotta do is throw in a little bit of your Reuben meat, a good amount, and a little bit more. These people mean something to me. I'll give them a little more of the good stuff. And what I'm gonna do is shape that roughly in the shape of the sandwich. And all it really needs to be is warmed through. And one of the tricks an actual chef that I worked with for a little bit, Chef Jacob, shout out to Chef Jacob, taught me is to let this cheese melt right down onto the pan and let some of that cheese actually grill on the pan. What it's going to do is it's going to help hold this sandwich together a little bit, help hold the meat together. But also the grilled cheese has a whole different flavor. I think we've talked about that in the past. We're just going to basically melt the cheese, warm the sandwich, and that's all we really have to do. We'll add then we'll add our sauerkraut, add our Thousand Island, and if you can see, the cheese is actually hitting the pan now. And I'm not just okay with that, that's what I'm looking for. And at this point, this sandwich could be eaten right now, whenever it's just the way you like it. I'm gonna let that cheese brown just a little bit more, but you can smell it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the stove off because we're all ready to go with that and see if I can land this. This is gonna be the trick right now, is whether or not I can actually land this kind of all still sort of holding together for the sandwich, which not perfect, but not too bad. And again, you can see that cheese that's turned over, it's gonna have a totally different flavor. It's really delicious.
I'm sure it's delicious.
All right, so to that, all we need to do is add a little bit of our sauerkraut, and since the best tool you have in the kitchen is your hands anyway, we're gonna add that on top. And that is warmed up, so that will also help melt that cheese. Mom and Aunt Kathy and myself all agree that you need a good bit of the Thousand Island dressing. So we're gonna put a nice big dollop of that. 2 tree dollops of that.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna mash this thing down. Grill the bread, that's one thing you need to do with this. We're gonna mash that down. That's gonna be one messy sandwich, but it's gonna be delicious. So give it a cut, and that's ready to go. I'll make about 2 more of these, and then we will meet you guys back at the table. All right, and with that, we are ready to plate up. Let's go ahead and get you guys a sandwich each. I'm gonna have to carry them over. We did note that these are gonna be messy. That's okay. Do it like that.
Messy good.
Messy good, I hope.
Messy good, Brady.
But you guys have been waiting for a while to eat today. Took us a while to get this together and be able to get going. So to that we will add some chips. This is like a summer plate with the chips and everything. And we've got some veggies to go with it. So we had our vegetables, which is important. We did forget our cranberry juice spritzer that we had ready, but we'll get that when you get thirsty. We'll make sure that's on the table for you.
Okay.
Mammie K, you have to give your prediction.
Okay. I think this game is going to be interesting. I'm going to use the word interesting. And so I chose Packers 24 and the Ravens 17. And I'm hoping the Packers just shine in the game tomorrow. And I say, go Pack! Go Pack!
All right, for Mammie K, Auntie K, and myself, we want to thank you for joining us. Hopefully the Packers do get this win. This is an important one, so we will let these ladies eat. You guys have a good one. Go Pack.
Go Pack.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Packernation worldwide.
Yes.
All right.
Gotta get closer.
Let's do another take, and that one goes to blooper. Beef brisket. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not the right word.